Now we're ready to talk about console codes. I printed out a sheet of all of the console codes for reference, and you can get a full copy of this from Nautilus. But what we're going to do is some hands-on. We'll start with some simple menus, such as our Customize mode, and we'll go through each one and I'll explain these. We will skip over some of these because they aren't really related to service, so we're just going to hit the ones that really are used the most. I'm going to hit level up, then 3, then enter. First thing that we want to look at is the change units menu. When I hit enter, I can choose between USA and metric units. This way, all of our readouts will be correct. Now, notice when I hit clear, we go back one step to the Customize menu. I'm going to look at HR inputs. So when I hit enter, I can select several options. We're going to go either telemetry only, hand only, both HR off, hand HR program off, and locked inputs. Okay, for the purpose of testing, you can turn this to hand only so that it only reads the input from your hands to block out any telemetric signals, This is important because when you're getting a false reading on your screen, you want to rule out wireless devices, such as wireless internet, certain cell phones, and even power tools will be picked up by this. Okay, once we've done that, we can take a look at the next menu. Notice how I step every once in a while? We want to make sure the power stays on the console. So I'm going to hit level up, then 4, then enter. This is our machine status. Here we can look at our usage stats, such as run hours, the number of workouts, floors climbed, and this is an important one. Your console version. So we have 41375-018. This tells me it's version 18, and the 75 actually tells me that it's a console which would go on a stepper only, or even a bike or an elliptical. Okay, next, this tells us what it's been configured to, so that we know it's not on the wrong type of unit, such as an elliptical. Okay, once we've gone through and checked our maintenance hours and our configuration and console version, we can exit. You want to write this console version down just to make sure that you have the most recent version. We'll talk about how to upgrade this later on in the next section. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the diagnostic menu. This is one that you'll use all the time. So you can do a display test to check the segments on your screen, make sure all of those are lighting up. As you can see, it does a self-test. Okay. Next, you can do a keypad test. When I hit enter, notice how it says enter on the screen. It'll indicate for each button that you press. If you aren't pressing any buttons, and let's say that it says stop, you can tell that you have a stuck button. So that's an important tool. Let's back up a step and take a look at, we're going to skip this one, we don't use this one, the alternator test. We did this in a previous section, so if you want more of a detailed description, you can refer back to it. Now the screen says running, it's waiting for us to press a button. If I press up, I can turn this alternator field on so it goes nice and slow, or I can turn it off. This just tells us that we're getting good communication down through the cables, and that the alternator can provide resistance. Okay, we're almost through with this, but we're going to take a look at our TAC test. So, TAC test refers to the reading that we're getting off of our speed sensor. I've got a target here on the left of 2000, and as I step, it's going to show us a number which should be very close to 2000. You can hear the alternator working because it's actually slowing us down so we stay right in this range. If you get a 0 reading, then you know to look at your speed sensor. Okay, so that concludes the console code section.